Welcome to the only series where I play Need for Speed and I tell you increasingly obscure facts about the cars we're driving. And at the end, we give it a grade. Today we have the beautiful Honda Civic Si from the year 2000. It's an interesting car and we're going to have 5 levels of obscurity, I guess. So we're going to start at beginner level, we're going to go all the way to beginner, novice, intermediate, advanced, and finally I will tell you only stuff that elite ball players know. So buckle up and we're about to find out about a beautiful car, but as we do that, before that we have to finish this race, so let's quickly get this solved and we're done with the tutorial essentially. I believe we're gonna meet the main villain of the series. Now, I think each series, this is our buddy, she's gonna help us, I guess, with cars. She's gonna give us a cheap car, and this guy is kind of like a, I don't know, a big tough guy or something. They're noticing your car. Don't really know what they're doing, but I am gonna start with this one, Honda Civic. Now this one specifically is a Honda Civic Si. You can see it from this little Si on the logo, Si logo back there, and yeah, we're gonna pick it. Now we're gonna
That is seriously weak, dude.
don't say it's seriously weak. How dare she? How dare she? I want to change the color actually, because one thing we'll find out later, it does not come stock in white. So I'm gonna try changing the color to the original thing.
Come here to find the latest race.
But we got 5 races, and I guess we're gonna, with each race, I'm gonna tell you some new facts. Why don't we start with the drag race? That seems like and one thing I'll try to do is I'm gonna try and make it race on hard for everything. However, I think there's drift stuff. For drift specifically, I'm gonna go with like either medium or easy because I cannot deal with that bullshit. It's such a pain in the ass. You guys, if you guys ever played it, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's start with our level 1 beginner knowledge. So the Si series in the Honda Civic lineup is the highest trim. I'm gonna have to remember how to shift. I think this is how we do it. Okay, I did it. I think. I'm looking at the little bar. Oh wow, they got it accurate. Okay, I'll tell you later about what they got accurate. But so this is the highest trim level of the Honda series, Honda Civic series. There's like a CX, DX, LX, HX, EX, which is the high trim considered, and then there's the Si, which is a very like special trim. This car has 1.6 liter VTEC inline 4 engine. It just means like the pistons are all lined up in front of each other, not like a V shape. All right, we finished second. We're gonna figure this one out. The car has 160 horsepower at 7,600. Yeah, let's try again, of course. It's a little bit hard to read my notes that I took before playing and actually playing, so we'll get better with time, because this is probably good for a voiceover kind of game, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to experience the game, have my experiences mesh with the storytelling, I guess. And the first times is probably going to be a little bit clunky, but it has 160 horsepower at 7,600 RPM. It's about 111 pounds per foot, or 150 newtons per meter in terms of power. The car redlines at 8,000 RPM. Remember that. It can go from 0 to 60 in about 7.2 seconds. 0 to 60 is basically 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. It has a top speed of 127 miles per hour, or 204 kilometers per hour. And yeah, this car has VTEC technology. I believe it was the first Honda Civic 655. We got a Mitsubishi Lancer. We got a new track. That's all fine. But no, we're not gonna save. I'm just gonna save at the very end. Let's go to the race map. Let's do a quick drift, and we're gonna go in easy mode because I don't like the drifting in this game. It's a pain in the ass. The scores get unrealistically high. That's the real reason I don't enjoy it. But it has basically a 1.6 liter. Okay, what was I saying? The VTEC engine. Yes, the VTEC basically meant it's this like feature where once you reach a certain RPM, I think it kicks in about 5,000 RPMs. basically it creates a different mapping in a way that you get more efficiency and more power. That's kind of how it works. I have to admit, I am not the car enthusiast that you think I am, but I thought this would be cool. This would be a fun way for me to learn new stuff, and yeah, hopefully you get to enjoy it as well. All right, we are in the second lap, and we're right in the second event. So I'll give you some notice stuff. Level 2 novice knowledge. So the car is about 4.5 meters long. Oh my god, there's one more turn. I started scratching my face too early. It's 4.5 meters long by 1.7 wide, and it's about 1.4 meters tall. In Imperial, that's about 14.5 feet long, 5.5 feet long and wide, and 4.5 feet tall. So it's about 1,100 kilograms. Okay, we got some points. Yeah, 300. Sure. Yeah, let's continue. Yes, of course. Not gonna save. It weighs about 1,200 kilograms or 2,600. Can I customize my car? I would like to customize. No, not like that. Just the visually. Just one thing we're gonna change. We're just gonna change one thing, and it's a paint color, or red, or dark blue. I don't. Let's go with the red. No, let's go with the dark blue. I believe this is the kind of blue. Yeah, I think this is the kind of blue that it came in. I'm kind of trying to eyeball it, and that will be relevant in just a tiny bit. We'll show you why. So we got a sprint, knockout, and circuits. Okay, so we can do any of them. And now we go back to hard. The actual races I want to do them hard. So the car is fairly light at 2,600 pounds. By comparison, the modern version of the Civics, they're like between 3,000 and 3,200 pounds. About a 20% difference, give or take. So the idea is that this car is fairly fast, nimble, and agile around the corners. I'm going to test that. We're going to see if that holds true. Okay, shortcut, here we go. So we're on the third event. So let's move on into some intermediate knowledge as I find my way around the track. So this car has a front wheel drivetrain. So sorry, this Peugeot is distracting me. Oh my god. So it tends to give a car a bit more stability. It also means that it's able to oversteer. No, it's actually more likely to understeer, which means that the car is less likely to steer as much as you want it. Instead, it will oversteer. Usually means that you're able to like spin out easily. So this will be a little bit harder to make it spin. In fact, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I was kind of like trying that out. Yeah, this car is not steering as much as I wanted to. I tried to not use the brakes, and yeah. So that's a feature of the car. That's the feature of like the fact that it has a front wheel drivetrain. It also has a double wishbone suspension system. Basically, it's like a more expensive system, so it's not as used as the ones today. Hold on. We have, oh my god, did I get overtaken? Just because I didn't take the shortcut at the very end? That's ridiculous. No, let me get this. Did I win? I don't think I won. Tell me how. Where are we? We won. Oh, let's fucking go. Alright. Nice. Alright. More money. Let's continue. Yes. Don't save. So, basically, we get a little bit more grip. The double wishbone shape allows it to give you a little bit more grip, and that's the kind of thing. You get more grip, and it's more expensive. That's why they don't use it as much these days, because you don't really need that kind of predictable handling. You're not going around drifting a ton or driving around tight corners like that. There's also some disc brakes, which is different than drum brakes. Disc brakes are apparently much better at dissipating heat compared to the drum brakes, which means that heat accumulates a little bit more slowly, and in turn you get to, sorry, I'm getting distracted, and basically you don't lose that stopping power that you normally get on a drum brake. I don't know what's the efficiency difference, but it's supposed to be somewhat noticeable. Oh my god, I wouldn't know because I don't use my brakes ever here. But yeah, that's the thing. Alright, so why did I insist on getting the car in this color, and I was upset that it was showing up in white? Because we're gonna move into the advanced knowledge, which is where things get pretty interesting, I would say. The car only came stock in 3 colors: black, red, and blue. I think it was called Milan Red. It's just red. And this is the black is called Black Pearl. It's just black, and this is blue. You know, they had bullshit names for their car colors as well, even back in the day. So this is what it has. It's a 5-gear car. It does not have an automatic option. They didn't even give you one. They didn't give you a hatchback option. They didn't give you a coupe option. This is it. Just a wait. No, they didn't give you a sedan option. There's only the coupe version. This is the only one that they have. So pretty cool. And there's, well, so this runs with a model from 1999. So those 2 models go hand in hand. They're the same generation essentially. I think it's the 6th generation, and they made about 17,000 units a year, so about 34,000 units in total of this car. The original MSRP was around $17,500 or $18,000, give or take. $18,000. These days, you can find one that has about 100,000 miles and questionable, who knows how many mods, for about 10K, give or take. There was one that sold recently. It had like 400,000 miles and it sold for 10K, but I've seen some with less use and they were still in that range, give or take. But if you want something that's more unmodified, more collector's edition, well, those are a lot more rare. I mean, these cars are rare to begin with. There's maybe a couple sales a year. A couple sales a month anyway. But if you want that mint edition, basically, it will run you at least 60 grand. And yeah, it will. There's maybe one sale like that a year. So it's a little bit tougher. We unlocked tier 1 level vinyls. Okay, cool. I guess I'll check it out. Continue, yeah. Continue, yes. So of these cars, of those 33,000 that were originally out, how many are there today? The estimate is between 3,000 and 5,000 cars. Customize the ride. Let's see if we can. No, we're not going to trade it. And I don't think we have any performance upgrades. Yeah, nothing we can do. So let's just do, let's see some vinyl. Let's see what the vinyls say. If they're cool, I will consider it. Sure, on the side. The tear. We have a tear. Interesting. It seems basic. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Is there any way I can color this tear? Yeah, let me install it. Can I? Oh, sorry. No, please, don't replace it. Don't replace it. I want a color. That seems nice. The yellow stripes, is it on both sides? Yes, okay. Kind of like flamey in a way. And the blue and yellow goes well. Alright, that's a decent enough mod for this car. So acceleration, top speed, handling. Well, the car, interestingly, it has very low acceleration listed, but the car has about 15-inch wheels. Yeah, sure, let's save it. It has 15-inch wheels, which is very small actually. Alright, same game data. Because the smaller wheels allow it to give it a little bit more braking power and a little bit more acceleration. So it's a little bit odd that it has this low acceleration basically in the game, but we get what we get. One cool thing. All right, let's go down. This car has 160 power for a 1.6 liter engine, as we mentioned. Well, that basically gives you 100 horsepower per liter, which back in the day apparently was quite a feat. That was only reserved for something more exotic or high end. I don't know if it's very different this day and age. Maybe we'll find out as we play more modern titles if more cars have that kind of feat. And now, finally, we move into the elite knowledge. The stuff that only the biggest fanatics know about this car. So, hold on. I'm getting a little bit distracted. But, okay, this car comes with a very nice 26mm front stabilizer bar and a 13mm rear stabilizer bar. Basically gives it more stability and makes sure the car doesn't feel as willing to just lose its shit and flip in corners, as I understand it. It gives you a little bit more stability. That's the whole thing. All right, excuse me, sir. The car also uses S4C transmission, which is known to have very aggressive gearing and and apparently there's this LSD system. I forgot what it stands for. It stands for limited slip differential, and I don't remember what it means. But basically, a lot of car enthusiasts would get different cars. Apparently, the Integra Type R and the JDM Civic, which ran those parts, and they would often swap those things and add the LSD into this car. Also, this car has this technology, which I forget exactly what it's called, but essentially it would throw oil at the bottom of the pistons to keep them cool, and that was apparently a technology that's only reserved for turbocharged stuff, not for something that was like as mass produced as this car. So that's kind of some cool facts. And lastly, I'll leave you with some, hold on, okay, never mind. Lastly, I'll try to teach you some tricks on how to spot a fake. So every other model is supposed to have this square mesh in the front. This one is supposed to have a honeycomb shape. Also, this car has a variant in Canada, but it's not the actual original thing. That has two different identities. Basically, Canada has a Honda Civic Si, but that is the equivalent of what in America was sold as the EX, that higher trim we mentioned right before the Si. The Canadian version is called SIR. Why are they doing that? I don't know. I wouldn't know. But yeah, so if you ever find a Canadian SI, just keep in mind that it's not this car. You will need to be looking for the SIR. And that actually goes on how to spot a fake, I think. Like, because some fakes, for example, kept different brakes on the back. They didn't have disc brakes. They had the other kind of brakes. I forgot. Hold on. A lot of things to keep in mind. My bad. In the meantime, things are going quite lovely here. We have 3-second advantage. They will often not replace the rear brakes. They often would not have the honeycomb thing. So those are all things to keep an eye out for. Basically, it's the same as that car as a EX, but they just called it SI. I don't know why. I don't know why they would do that. One interesting thing, apparently the VIN number, if you want a true 2000 version, the VIN number must start with 1HGEJ8. And if it says EJ7 or EM1, apparently it's a different trim or year. Another interesting detail is the red line should start at 8,000, not at 7,000. It goes from 8,000 to 9,000. This car, when we did the drag race, had the trim start at 7,000, we just noticed. And so this technically would be a fake. But we're not going to count that part. But overall, pretty fun game. Pretty fun car. I enjoyed it. So let's move on to giving this car a grade. What will we grade it? I mean, it gave us no issues at all. It was very beautifully to, like, I don't know, drive. It was very snappy. It did live up to its name of being easy to handle. Even the acceleration, it was a bit low on the acceleration, but I really liked the top speed. So what grade do I give this beautiful car? I think I'm going to give it an A- just because this was the first time Honda was bringing a lot of cool technologies reserved for higher end cars. Let's give it let's start with a B plus. I might change it by the end of the series, but initially I'm gonna give it a B plus. The car lived up to the expectation. I don't like how the game gave it low acceleration. It's supposed to have high acceleration, but this was Honda really giving enthusiasts an exciting car, something very cool, and I imagine a lot of people enjoyed it. So for that reason, we're gonna give. Oh, they have the. You see, that looks like a squarish mesh. I believe it's supposed to be honeycomb, which is slightly different. So yeah, this is a Canadian version. This is an EX. They lied to us. No, but overall, B plus, beautiful car. I'll see you all next time with the next car. Which one? Hold on. Which one? Let's look at the options. We can choose between a Volkswagen GTI, Mazda Miata, Dodge Neon, Peugeot 206, and Mitsubishi Lancer. Which one will I choose? I don't know. Join in next time and we'll find out together. Bye-bye.